Okay, in this segment, we're going to take a look at a second part of sequence building, which is using a sensor. And so what you'll see here, down below we picked up a counter in the last video. This time we're going to bring up a sensor. We're going to throw it right in there. And a couple things to notice up front. The first thing is, what kind of sensor are you using? In this case, I am actually going to use a light sensor, but if you were using a different type of sensor, then you'd pick it here. And if you were on a different port other than port 1, you would pick that here. Okay? In this case, and I'm going to go ahead and start my video now. In this case, I'm actually using a light sensor, and I happen to be on port 1. So if you look on the video, you'll see the sensors in my hand right here. Let's see if I can focus on that. There we go. And then it's connected to port 1 of the Hummingbird. Okay? And what you'll notice as we bring up the sensor, in this case, because it's a light sensor, there's a darker and brighter setting. And if I close my hand over the sensor, notice how the green moves to the darker side of the reed. Okay, if I let go, it's bright. Now, this distance of green will vary depending on where your environment is. If I was out in the middle of outside of class in the midday sun, then full light might be way over here. In this case, it comes up halfway. So what I'm going to do is, if I want to differentiate between brighter and darker, I have to move my dial right here that sets between darkness and lightness. I'm going to put it in between there. And so watch what happens when I cover the light again. Now it's dark. It's considered darker, and that's considered brighter. And so what this is going to do is it's going to say, okay, well, if it's bright, do this. If it's dark, do this. Okay, so I'm going to use the motor in this case, and I'm going to say stop the motor if it's brighter, and move it forward if it's darker. Okay, and one other thing is, in order to make this sensor sort of always on, I'm going to use these two arrows down here and change them into a loop, which means keep going with this setting. If I were to just choose one, let's say for example, and I hit play, right now it's saying stop, and then if I were to cover, it doesn't really work, right? So I'm going to loop these two, I'm going to hit play, and now it's constantly checking, and it's saying, okay, right now, because it's bright outside, I'm going to be in stop mode, and then the minute I cover up, it's going to move the motor forward, right? And the minute I let go, stops. And the minute I cover, it moves it forward. So you can kind of imagine the many different things that you're going to be able to do with this. You can throw in other things here. So you might say forward for 1 second, then backward. Or you might also turn lights on while you're doing this. So you can do a number of different things on the active side, and then you could either have it stop, or maybe even this one could be move forward if dark, move backward if brighter. So it just really depends on what you want it to do. And when I'm ready, I'm going to hit save as, and I'm going to call this one light sensor motor forward, and that just tells me what this sequence is used for. And hit OK, and now that one's saved as a new sequence.